Well, there better be, because they won't be able to play here for the next 2 days with what's coming in.
I don't know about you, but I got my longies on.
You betcha. I wouldn't be without them.
The ceremonial first pitches were thrown by Air Force Colonel Joe Engel and Navy Captain Richard Truly, the astronauts who piloted the second flight of the Columbia Space Shuttle last November. On board the Columbia was the opening day baseball, which traveled about 1.25 million miles through space on its way to Riverfront Stadium. Do you believe all this hype?
Oh, yeah. And it isn't going to travel that far today with this cold air, I'll tell you. And an interesting matchup in pitchers, Harry. Bird and Soto. Soto, of course, you know Seaver would have been the pitcher, but a little thigh injury and a flu bug that went through their camp in Florida the last week.
You know, you talk about an interesting matchup of pitchers, an interesting matchup of teams. Both these clubs, you wouldn't know them without a scorecard from a year ago.
Unbelievable changeover.
Former baseball commissioner Happy Chandler, former governor and senator from Kentucky, has been saluted for his incoming induction, and the Cincinnati Reds now are taking the field. They're introduced as they take their position. Here are the lineups. Soto is the last man out on the field for the Chicago Cubs. Bump Wills leads off at second base. Boa, Larry Boa, playing shortstop. Buckner, Bill Buckner at first base. In the cleanup spot, playing right field, Durham. Leon Durham in right field. The catcher batting fifth, Moreland. Keith Moreland, the catcher. In left field, batting sixth, Steve Henderson. At third base, batting seventh, Sandberg, Ryan Sandberg. In center field, hitting eighth, Ty Waller with an E. And the pitcher will be Doug Bird. Last year, he won 4, lost 5 for the Cubs, won 5, lost 1 for the Yankees, for an overall 9-6 record. For the Cincinnati Reds, Ron Oester at second base. Dan Dreesen, the first baseman. Dave Concepcion at shortstop. In the cleanup spot, playing center field, will be Cesar Cedeno. Johnny Bench will bat fifth at third base. Rookie Paul Householder will be in right field, batting sixth. Clint Hurdle, last year with the Kansas City Royals, will be in left field, batting seventh. The catcher will be Alex Trevino. And Mario Soto, who won 12, lost 9 with an earned run average of 3.29 a year ago, will be the pitcher. The umpires, John Kibler behind the plate, Dick Stello at first, Bruce Fleming at second, and Jim Quick at third. More about the umpires in just a moment, but right now we're ready to play baseball, and may it be as exciting and great a season for the Chicago Cubs as all of us have the positive feeling it will be.
Come out of the spring with the best the Cubs have had in over a decade. They'd like to make it a springboard right here today, Harry.
First pitch of the ball game to Bump Wills is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Bump Wills, the son of Maury Wills, the great base stealing champ. There's a long drive, deep right field, way back, might be out of here. It could be in there. Holy cow, look at Bump waving. Is he excited? He opens his major leagues season in the American League with a line drive home run over the right field wall. One thing Soto can be sure of today, he will not pitch a no-hitter, and he will not pitch a shutout.
Bump Wills with 2 home runs all last year, Harry, and starts off with 1 here today. Talk about exuberance, and he's got our bench on fire.
All right, 1-0 just like that, and here's Larry Boa. Watch it again. A low fastball, it looked like, Milo.
Sure did.
There's a pitch swung and foul into the bullpen of the Reds. Boy, that didn't take long, did it?
Boy, a line drive, too.
Everybody talking all spring long, all these expert writers, about how the Cubs never hit any home runs. Well, 1 man up, 1 home run. Now the delivery. High fly ball to left field will be caught. That's Hurdle coming over. 1 away. Yeah, the Cubs are right, Arnie. The Cubs are leading the major leagues in home run.
And the way this weather's going to be, they might lead for the next 4 days with only one.
Here's Bill Buckner. Hit .311 last year with 10 homers, 75 RBI. Fresh off a great spring. Left-handed batter, Bill Buckner. Star first baseman of the Cubs. Soto. Fastball in there, a beauty, a strike call. This guy throws hard.
He's been clocked at 95, Harry. That's no mirage. He can bring it.
And he's learned to change speeds well also.
Some will tell you he might have the best change in the league.
Mario Soto out of the Dominican Republic. High foul ball out of play. Souvenir for somebody. They expect 52,000 here today. That's how many seats have been sold, but I notice a lot of empty spaces. So a lot of people with tickets have not shown up because of the cold weather.
And they're televising their home opener, so there'll be a few people away from here that wondered about the weather who probably said, hey, I got a ticket, but I'll watch it at home today.
Can hardly blame them either. 2 strikes to nothing on Bill Buckner. Line drive in the right field for a base hit. Buckner starts the 1982 season with a single to right.
His great spring, Harry, carrying over. He's always been a slow starter, had the greatest spring of his life, .419, a 12-game hitting streak. Starts off with 1 here today. And I think the biggest ingredient you got out of him in talking to him the last week, he says, hey, this is not all spring training hype. This is a better club.
He's got better hitters in front of him, better hitters behind him, which means he's going to get better balls to hit. Here's Leon Durham, hit .290 last year with 10 homers. Swings, ground ball to the first baseman up. Throwing down to second now, and they caught Buckner in between first and second. They have to tag him out. That was a ground ball hit to Dan Dreesen. Dreesen stepped on the bag, which took the force play away, and then Buckner was hung up between first and second. But the Cubs score 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. 3-6 on the putout of Buckner on the tail end of the double play. And so we go now into the bottom of the first inning. The Cubs on Bump Wills leadoff home run lead the Cincinnati Reds 1-0. Harry Caray with Milo Hamilton back at Riverfront Stadium, where Bump Wills' line drive home run over the right field wall has given the Cubs an early 1-0 lead. You know, on Durham's ground ball that wound up in a double play, Dreesen didn't move off the bag. Ordinarily, the first baseman will come off the bag with the runner. That would have been a double into the right field corner, maybe even a triple, had he come off like a good first baseman normally does. This is a case of being a bad first baseman helped him.
It really did. He just kind of was lazy around that bag and got a pitcher out of a jam.
First pitch foul back and out of play on the leadoff man here, Ron Oester, the second baseman. Hit .271 last year with 5 homers, 42 RBI. This is the first time the Cubs have been in Cincinnati for the Reds opener since 1968, when Milt Pappas beat Joe Niekro 9-4.
I gotta believe Milty's watching today back there in Chicago.
That'll bring back some pleasant memories. Oester, bouncing ball foul. So Bird is out in front of him. 2 strikes and nothing. Cold day. Our next telecast will be Wednesday night, a night game. Curveball a little bit low. Ron Oester, good fielding. Naturally a shortstop now playing second base for the Reds. Bird's pitch. Bouncing ball, foul. Pass Buckner into the right field corner. It is Doug Bird against Mario Soto. The first major league game of the season. The outfield bunches Oester in center field. Line smash to the shortstop. Boa's got it. Over the first for the out. That ball was hit hard. Right at Larry Boa. 1 away. It was off to the first base side here.
This is a good hitter's park here. Ball carries well here. It's only .330 to the corners. power alleys aren't that tough. 375. You got to give it a ride to center at 404. But if you pull the ball here, there are a lot of balls hitting the first deck in this park.
You know, I still can't get used to the carpet. It just doesn't seem like baseball to see a rug out there.
You're going to see it.
In every city. The pitch to Dreesen is outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Dan Dreesen hit .236 last year with 7 homers and 33 RBIs. 30-year-old first baseman, a good left-hand hitter, is Johnny McNamara, their manager. Ball 3 is low. Now, Bird is a good control pitcher ordinarily. 3 balls, no strikes. There's a good fastball right in there.
Both pitchers with similar repertoires, both with their hard stuff, fastballs and sliders. Each throw a change. Bird uses a pound ball for his.
There's a pitch swung on, fly ball, center field. That ought to be easy. That's Ty Waller there, and he takes it with one hand. 2 up, 2 down, 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. If you tuned us in late, you must have missed it, because our leadoff man, Bump Wills, playing his first National League game, lined a home run over the right field wall to give the Cubs their 1-0 lead.
And I don't think he hit a mistake either. I think Soto had a fastball down on him, about where he wanted it.
2 men are out. Here's Concepcion. And a fastball in there for a strike call. Concepcion, the star shortstop, 33 years old now. Batted .306 last year with 5 homers. Many think he's the best shortstop in the game today.
Well, if he isn't, he can do a lot of things. He can hit for power. He's a good extra baseman. He can run still. He's a great shortstop.
Yeah, but just to give you an idea, there's a ground ball to short. Boa should throw him out. He does. 1, 2, 3 and out. Nothing across. At the end of 1 inning, Bump Wills 1. The Reds nothing.
McKenna may be up here with their owner.
Harry Caray and Milo Hamilton. We go to the top of the second. The first pitch to Moreland's in there for a strike call. Keith Moreland, hard-hitting catcher. There's a drive. Way back. Might be out of here. It could be. It is. Holy cow. Moreland makes it 2-0. Where's all these writers that said the Cubs can't hit any home run? Bump Wills led off the first with a homer over the right field wall. Keith Moreland leads off the second with a home run over the left field wall.
Well, I tell you, there hasn't been any doubt Moreland really got every bit of that. Let's see where the pitch was. Right in his wheelhouse. Up above the belt. You can't give him a fastball up there, I don't think, Harry.
He really crushed that ball. And here now is Steve Henderson, 2-0 in favor of the Cubs.
Cubs played 23 games in Arizona. 10 home runs.
This is when it counts. First pitch, foul, out of play. 1 strike and nothing. Andy McKenna, the president of the Cubs, is here. Dallas Green, the general manager, is here. I don't know if Stanton Cook is here or not. We haven't seen those gentlemen yet. Now the delivery. Slider on the outside corner. Soto's got good stuff. Mario Soto. Hey, struck him out swinging. 1 away. And here now is Ryan Sandberg making his Cub debut. We have Bump Wills playing his first game as a member of the Cubs. Larry Boa playing his first game as a member of the Cubs. Keith Moreland making his first appearance as a Cub. Ryan Sandberg will be making his debut as a Cub. Held up, breaking ball, low and away.
Well, we open at home Friday, Harry. The guy that's got to be the happiest is the guy that sells the programs. Everybody will need one.
The pitch on the way. Swung and he missed.
Oh, he's bringing it right now. Man, he's swung.
Mario Soto, hard-throwing right-hander, 25 years old. 2-0. 2 home run balls. Off the bats of Bump Wills and Keith Moreland. Bouncing ball toward short, in fast, Concepcion. He got him in a good play. That's It's 2 down. Here's Ty Waller, the center fielder, coming up.
I wondered how long Soto was going to wait to go to that change. He finally got an out with one. He got him way out in front of that one. Now here's a guy that needs to get his bat going, Harry. Waller.
The way things are going with guys hitting home runs that haven't been hitting them, Waller been in a slump. It'd be just like him to go 4 for 4 today. 2 men are out. A run is in.
I sure like the new road uniforms.
Swung on, drive into left center field. Going back, the center fielder's there to make the catch. Cesar Cedeno raced into left center. Waller hit that ball well, but out. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the second. The Cubs 2, Cincinnati nothing. Harry Caray and Milo Hamilton as we go in the bottom of the second. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Dave Stephenson and Karen Friedland, 2 great Cub fans, made the trip here to pull their team to victory. John Flascott, who used to be at Andy Frayne, chief of Wrigley Field, is on hand. His dad is recovering from illness at home.
Harry, you mentioned at the top about the umpires. It was uncertain when we went to bed last night. They settled early this morning. The details, of course, will be coming as we move along and in early evening sports shows and so forth. But the main thing is they're here, and we didn't have to start off with a taint of the season again.
All right, Cesar Cedeno will be leading it off here. He's making his debut with the Cincinnati Reds. Ron Kuhn, sports writer in Louisville, who was originally out of Peoria, which is Pete Van Auken country. Watching the game here today. Ron Kuhn. Cedeno leading it off. Last year he hit .271, 31-year-old veteran. This fella can do a lot of things. He can run, he can throw, he can hit, steal bases. Right-handed batter digs in. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Doug Bird's pitch. Breaking ball in there, a beauty, a strike called. 1 strike and nothing. They shade Cedeno a little bit towards left field. On deck is Johnny Bench, playing third base today for the Reds. There's a line drive, and it's fouled into the right field corner. Cedeno went right with him. Fouled it off. The Birds ahead of him now, 2 strikes and nothing.
As good as Cedeno has been, Harry, I don't think he's ever really lived up, though, to what we all thought he'd be as a kid. Do you?
No, I don't think so. He's had some great years, though. Stolen bases as high as 58, 57, 61, 48. Fastball low and outside. 2 strikes and a ball. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Ball game at the bottom of the second. The skies are overcast. It's cold, 33 degrees. There's a ground ball deep short. Larry Bowa up throwing. He gets a nice play. Larry Bowa moved nicely to his right, came up with a ground ball with a perfect arm. That's 3 assists out of the first 4 men up for Bowa, which would indicate that Doug Bird's fastball is sinking well.
And good to see Bowa with those chances. That was not an easy chance. He had to throw it because Cedeno runs well. You know, the last week or so of spring training, Larry was bothered a little by some stiffness and tenderness, but he's throwing all right here today in the cold weather.
1 on, nobody on. Here now is Johnny Bench, hit .309 last year with only 1 homer. 26 RBI. Bench, born in Oklahoma City. Breaking ball, low and away. Bench came up with the Reds originally in 1967. 15-year career. He's been in 4 World Series with the Reds. 35 years old now. The pitch. Breaking ball, low. 3 balls, no strike. Paul Householder, a rookie, making his debut with the Reds today, is on deck.
They haven't had a rookie crack their lineup in a while.
To give you an idea about Concepcion, there's a strike at the knees. In the mid-70s, you know, when they had the big red machine, Concepcion batted 9th in the batting order. Now he hits 3rd. That's how much difference in their batting order. Here's a pitch foul back. And Johnny Bench was going for the downs that time.
Yeah, he's looking to get himself on a pattern here because he didn't have a good spring with the bat. He says, I had to spend too much time at third. I've got to get used to fielding. And I just didn't get a chance to hit.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Big pitch on the way. Line drive, center field, base hit. Johnny Bench drills a single to center. And that's our first base runner. And that brings a roar from the crowd. Here's Paul Householder now.
You get a pitch right above the belt, and a nice level swing by Bench, as you saw, stayed right in there. There's a couple of stars right there chatting it over, Buckner and Bench.
Householder, who's 23 years old, out of Columbus, Ohio. Came up with Cincinnati the tail end of the season last year. There's a fastball a bit inside. Count evened up, a ball and a strike.
He looks enough like Roger Maris to be his kid brother.
Well, if he can play like Roger Maris, he'll be around here a long time. Johnny Bench at first base.
Just to mention about Maris, we saw him recently out in Arizona for the Ken Boyer special, but he was a much better outfielder than anybody ever gave him credit for.
There's the base hit into right field. And his runner's on at first and second. The throw goes into Larry Boa, trying to put the tag on Johnny Bench, who had rounded the bag. And Householder's ground ball had eyes just to the left of the second baseman, Bump Will. And his runner's on at first and second, went away. The score 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. And Clint Hurdle. Hurdle was with the Kansas City Royals last year. He's never quite lived up to his great potential. 1 out, 2 on. The tying runs on base. Boy, Householder's ball just barely got through there. There's a fastball strike call. Hurdle last year for the Reds hit .329. The year before, a full season, he hit .294. Good power, left-hand hitter. Bird's pitch. A little bit inside. That evens it up, a ball and a strike. Clint Hurdle had 4 homers last year, 15 RBIs. He hits the ball to all fields, and they have to play him straight away. The pitch. Ha, teed up. Moreland's off with the mask. He's got to play. Makes the catch. 2 gone. Hurdle fouls to Moreland. 2 away. That'll bring up the catcher, Alex Trevino, who used to be with the New York Mets. He's another one of the many new players in their lineup. Now Bo is in talking to Doug Bird, reminding him of how to pitch. Alex Trevino out of Monterrey, Mexico. With the Mets last year, he hit .262. The year before, .256. Right-handed batter. Breaking ball low. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. The Reds are threatening, but there are 2 out. Runners at first and second. 1 ball, no strikes. Breaking ball of beauty, a strike call, and the count evens up. A ball and a strike. Johnny Bench at second base, Paul Householder at first base. They forecast snow. We haven't had that yet, but it's cold. The pitch, high, pop foul, back, out of play. Right in front of us here, 2 strikes and a ball. That reminds me, I gotta locate a net. You ever catch a foul ball at Wrigley Field?
No, because the net's always been in front of the booth. It always slanted up there, and the ball couldn't get there.
Well, we'll cut a hole in that.
Well, now they have a new up and down net now.
Oh, good.
Have a screen.
He's shut me out. Here's the pitch. Fouled it out of play. 2 strikes and a ball, 2 out. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Home runs off the bats of leadoff man Bump Wills and catcher Keith Moreland. Both welcome additions to the Chicago Cubs' new tradition. 2 strikes and a ball. The delivery. Here it is. Ground ball to Bo at short. He's got it. Flips. Force out. to retire the side. And it's no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 2, the good guys 2, the Cincinnati Reds nothing. Harry Caray and Milo Hamilton as we go into the top of the 3rd inning. Doug Bird's going to be leading it off. Our first night game of the year will be here Wednesday night. We'll be on the air on Channel 9 at 6:30 Chicago time. There's the riverboat. Riverfront Stadium. Here now is Bird to lead it off 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. The pitch swung on, a high pop foul out of play. 1 strike and nothing. Hey, a fan makes a one-handed stab at that. Give him a contract.
Harry, about that Wednesday night game, that has now been added. And right after that game Wednesday on Channel 9, the John Drury News team, and then I'll be on from Cleveland with the Bulls on a delay.
The Bulls play basketball Wednesday night.
It'll be our last
a lot
Bulls
of sports
game this year.
Baseball and basketball Wednesday night starting at 6:30. A ball and a strike on Doug Bird. Trying to get the Cubs started properly this year. He's got a 2-0 lead going to the top of the 3rd. Home runs by Wills and Moreland. 2 strikes and a ball. Bump Wills waiting on deck. Hey, struck him out. Strikeout number 2. Now here's Bump Wills. Boy, that was a great picture of Bump waving his fist in the air, circling the bases. You know, I was talking to him before the game. I asked him to give me a little bit of a tip. I said, now, if you get on to start the game, you're going to steal on the first pitch or the second pitch. He said, I might take a look at the first pitch and then go on the second pitch. So he himself wasn't exactly thinking about walloping a home run to get the new season started with.
You talk about looking at the artificial stuff. Here's a guy who ought to be glad to be over here.
The pitch swings and he fouls it off. Now he's in the hole, 2 strikes and nothing. 1 out. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. A gray, overcast, cold day at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Here's the pitch to Bump Wills. Swung, and he struck him out. Strikeout number 3. That's 2 in a row with Soto as fan. And that'll bring up Larry Boa, who flat out his first trip. Manny Soto looks now like he's hit his groove, and he's really pumping.
Well, he's mixed in that change a little more. I don't think he threw one until halfway through the 2nd inning. Figured maybe he'd get by with fastballs on this cold day, maybe, and he got a couple right where he didn't want to.
Here's a smash, but right at the shortstop. Concepcion throws him out. Larry Boa hit that ball like a bullet. 1, 2, 3. Since Moreland's home run leading off the 2nd, 6 in a row retired by Soto. We go now into the bottom of the 3rd. The Cubs 2, the Reds nothing. Harry Caray and Milo Hamilton as we go now into the bottom of the 3rd. The pitcher Mario Soto will be leading it off. And the first pitch swung on and foul off to the left. Jim Bishop and Murray McGuire attending opening day here and then leaving for the Emil Verbin Society luncheon in Washington tomorrow, where Jack Brickhouse will be on hand along with President Reagan and so forth. Here's the pitch, swung and he missed.
Soto looking out and saying, what the heck did you throw me? That was just a good old bomb ball, that's all.
Throw another one. He didn't show that he could hit that one on that swing. Now ready. 2 strikes and nothing. He almost chased it. The same pitch it was too, but a little bit lower. 2 strikes and a ball. Soto leading it off here in the bottom of the 3rd. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Ground ball right back to the mound. That'll be easy. Toss over to first, 1 away. Well, we need 20 more outs. I'd like to have 19 more just like that one.
Oh, he's had some
Take our
ground ball
chances
out.
of a 20th.
Well, I'll say, just keep him from hitting that ball up in the air here.
1 out, nobody on. Here's Ron Oester, the leadoff man. A switch hitter. Batting left-handed against Doug Bird. Fastball of beauty, a strike call.
Moreland just crossed me up. He kept shading the outfielders over, especially Waller. I figured they're going to pitch this kid away. Bird comes right inside in the opening pitch.
Now the pitch, curveball, a little bit outside, a pound ball, and the count is evened up. A ball and a strike. Outfield bunches the hitter. There's a smash to first baseman Buckner, and steps on the bag for the out. 2 up, 2 down. Only one ball is, well, actually, one ball has been handled by the outfield in the air. Dreesen flied out to Waller in the first. Another ball was in the air on a foul ball to the catcher off the batter hurdle. So Birds had his stuff down low and effective. 2 out. Here's Dan Dreesen, the first baseman. Fastball a little bit low.
Boy, blow this weather out of here so we can have some good stuff Friday at Wrigley Field for our home opener.
Yeah, that's. I wonder what the weather is in Chicago right now. They expect a lot of snow.
An hour ago in the loop, there was a blizzard.
Clearing now, huh? A ball and a strike. 2 men around, nobody on. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. The pitch on the way. A little bit low inside to Dan Dreesen, a left-hand batter. Had 7 homers last year, hit .236. Now the windup, the pitch on the way. Breaking ball a little bit low, and Doug Bird wanted that pitch. Joan DeWitt and her mother Margaret watching the game here. There's a pitch drilled down the right field line, foul.
Never know how things will change with the ball club. Last year, Dreesen unhappy. They said they were going to play Dreesen. Benched down at first. He says, get me out of here, trade me. Here he is. Griffey, Foster, and Collins are gone.
Here's a pitch. Ball 4, a little bit low, and Dreesen is on. That will bring up Dave Concepcion, the shortstop, representing the tying run at the plate. I mentioned the DeWitts. Bill DeWitt, of course, passed away a week or 2 ago. A great baseball executive. His widow Margaret and his daughter Joan watching the game here today. This is their home. Concepcion rolled out to Boa his first time at bat. The pitch. Fastball barely missed outside.
Concepcion and Boa both considered great shortstops, and Concepcion greeted Boa coming to the park today. Gonna be your last year, huh, Larry? We hope it isn't.
Larry will be around a few more years. And his heir apparent is playing third base alongside of him. There's a fastball low, barely missed at the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. Concepcion has gotten much bigger and stronger, heavier. 2 balls, no strikes. Now Bird is set. The pitch. Wide, ball 3.
All of a sudden his radar has gone unglued here.
And Cedeno is waiting on deck. They might turn him loose here. 3 balls, no strikes. Dave Concepcion, the great shortstop of the Reds. Now the 3-0 pitch. Strike at the knees call. The highest total of home runs, Concepcion hit 16 in 79. 3 balls and a strike. Ground ball headed for left field. He didn't hit that ball hard. Just hit it off the end of the bat and it trickled through. And now it's runners at first and second again. That's a 2nd inning in a row, but there are 2 out. And the cleanup hitter, Cesar Cedeno, coming up. He rolled out to short his first time.
And in betweeners, you saw Sandberg dive one way and Boa the other, but it just had enough to get through.
Now we're ready. 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. Cedeno, the pitch. Fouled out of play off to the right, a souvenir for somebody.
Oh, he was waiting on that first pitch too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Nothing to wait for. He got a pitch he wanted to hit. Each team with 3 hits now, but the Cubs have 2 runs by virtue of the fact that 2 of their 3 hits were home runs. The delivery. We're out of the inning, or should be. Bump Wills has it over to first to retire the side. Lou Boudreau and I are going to change places now. Lou will be joining Milo Hamilton for the next 3 innings. The score here at the end of 3. The Cubs 2, the Reds nothing.
Bill Buckner leads off the 4th at Riverfront as Mario Soto, trailing 2-0, works to Billy Buck, and the pitch is a ball. Milo Hamilton now with Lou Boudreau. And good kid, how about those 2 bombs to get us off and running?
Well, we were supposed to have a lot of cannons that aren't supposed to be loaded. But they were loaded today, weren't they?
Boy, got a couple of fastballs right where he didn't want them.
Yes.
Although the pitch to Wills really wasn't that bad. But the one to Moreland, man, it was right up where he wanted it.
Here we talk all spring about building up how our offense is base hits, hit and run, steal, go from first to third.
That'll still be the formula by and large, though. Buckner had a base hit in the 1st inning. The hits are even at 3. Oh, man. He really cranked up on his fastball that time, and this little guy's got a good one.
Yes, he has a good fastball. Normally last year, the scouting report was you stay close to Soto. He could go 4 or 5 innings, and then that's it. So let's hope we get a few more runs.
Last year when he faced our club, he went all the way and struck out 10 in a squeaker, 2-1. He was the victor. We owe him one here.
Yes, we do.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Ooh, that fastball took off. He let go of that. He's looking at his hand. He didn't like the way he let that one go. Hits are even at 3, 2-0. Those of you might have joined us late. Bump Wills jumped on Soto for a line drive homer down over the right field corner fence. And then Moreland in the 2nd inning led off by hitting one right off the top of the left center field fence. That's the 2-0 Cub lead. Good eye by Buckner. Struck out once in all of spring training. He's a tough guy to strike out.
Indeed. Makes contact, and he opened up with his first time at bat with a single to right.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. The Cubs on the road at Cincy. There's that straight change. Buckner drives it to center, but Cedeno back, and Cesar is there, and Buckner is out. In the first couple of innings, until he got Sandberg on that change, I don't think he threw one.
No, he was fortunate that change of pace was going away from Buckner on the outside of the plate. Buckner got all of it. Had he pulled it, it'd have been out of the ballpark.
Here's Leon Durham, who loves to play in this park because he grew up in the shadow of it. Cincinnati high school star. And playing right here in front of the home folks. You only get 2 guesses to who had the biggest pass list at our club here today.
Only need 1.
No balls and 1 strike to the bull. Look out. 1-1. Moreland will be next. Wills and Moreland, the home runs that we talked about. Buckner with a single. Their hits belong to Bench and Householder. Back-to-back singles in the 2nd. Concepcion had a base hit in the 3rd. Soto to Durham. Fouled it way down the left side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Moreland, who hit that leadoff homer in the 2nd, is on deck. Well, I talked to Lee Ilya before the game. I said, okay, let's get it over with. Little guy played a game in short pants as a kid, made it to the big leagues for a cup of coffee, managed, gave up the game, came back as a coach. What are your feelings actually knowing you're going to hand in a lineup card for the first time? Says, you keep it up, you have me crying. I'm teary-eyed. That pretty well says it. Lined into left for a base hit, and Durham has his first hit of the regular season.
Now we've got speed on the base paths.
That is hit number 4 for the Cubs. Brings up Moreland. Can you remember at all, and you've been around long enough to see this Cub team? Let's see where this pitch was, Lou.
It was right down the middle to Moreland, and it was up high. And let me tell you, he got everything on it.
You haven't seen a Cub team with this much speed from top to bottom, have you?
No, I have never seen a Cubs team with this much speed and knowledge of base running at its best.
And until they can show differently, they're going to be able to run on their own. 4 or 5 of them are.
Right.
Lee's feeling, I think, is until they show me they don't have any common sense about it, I don't want to take their aggressiveness away because we've preached it all spring.
This is true, and this is his style of baseball.
Still no count to Moreland. Zonk, they call him.
Now you see what Durham is doing. He's testing Soto on his move to first base, just exactly how far he can get off. Each time he has extended his lead at least 2 or 3 feet and still getting back to second base. Now he's got his right foot on the carpet.
That's the biggest lead he's taken, Lou. Now you got to watch him. He's not going here. But what this also can set up, Moreland might get another fastball to hit.
True. But Durham now, in my opinion, has Soto set up as to knowing how far he can get off the base, still get back with his best move. This is very important in base running.
You look out, that quick move. Another thing about playing on these skinned-off pit areas, a runner really has a good way to measure his steps every time. He's not guessing that step out there, because he knows where that turf starts. He knows where he's been before. Edging a little. Yep. Popped it up. And this is going to be tough here. Durham's going to have to hurry back, but he will make it because that ball stayed up. But he was definitely moving.
And Milo, he had a tremendous lead.
Oh, did he?
Put on the carpet. Looked as if that he could have stolen the base, but the hit and run was on.
All right, that makes it 2 away. And you'll go to Steve Henderson, who was a strikeout victim in the first inning. I want to remind you that Thursday there's a big luncheon planned by the Chicago Association of Commerce and Industry, hosting another Meet the Cubs luncheon. The Cubs cooperating. All the club will be there. The brass, the players, the coaches. It'll be my pleasure to MC it again this year, and looking forward to seeing you all. And tickets are available by calling right now, 786-0111. Working on the bull again. So if you'd like to be at that luncheon Thursday, dial 786-0111. They're waiting for your call. They'd love to see you. Welcome the Cubs home Thursday at the Conrad Hilton. Durham doesn't have the big lead.
No.
And a good thing, because Soto's really working on him now.
Yeah. Durham knows that with 2 outs, Henderson at bat, that everybody in the ballpark expects him to steal. Now he's extending his lead.
Yeah, he's got the front foot out on the carpet this time. It's almost a foot deeper. And Trevino, now you see the catcher's got him on his mind too.
Right. This is what speed will do to the opposition. Not only the pitcher, who will hurry his pitches to the catcher, but the catcher saying, well, if you're thinking about it, I'm thinking about it too, so I'm going to pitch out.
I'm wondering how long they're going to go here before they turn the lights on. Getting a little dreary here now, isn't it? He's making Soto now. He's not throwing to the batter's box a lot in this inning, but he's throwing a lot with his arm in this inning.
That's right. And every peg over to Dreesen has been hard.
Oh, you just knew he was coming back that time, because Durham had the biggest lead he's had in the inning that time out.
I think these two men have played against one another for a number of years. Soto knowing Durham and his speed and his ability to steal bases, and Durham likewise in knowing Soto insofar as his move to first base.
That coach right there with him as they talked it over, number 2, John Vukovich, our new first base coach. Gordy McKenzie at third. Handles it over there for the new skipper, Lee Elia. 1 ball, no strikes. Big cut, but comes up empty on a good hard slider.
He may be going on this particular pitch. Lee has given Henderson 1 pop after being behind 1 ball and no strikes. So he gave him that advantage of that pitch, but he missed it.
One ball and 1 strike. 4th inning. Cubs leading 2-0. Cubs about hit the Reds 4-3. Neither team has been guilty of a miscue in the field as yet. The excitement of opening day here. We'll have that same thing Friday at Wrigley Field when the Mets come in, and Fergie Jenkins will get the nod in that ball game
against the tough-hitting, long ball hitting Mets.
Yeah,
such as you mentioned with Foster and Kingman in that lineup and Valentine.
A ball and a strike and a new manager. 1-1 the count. 2 away. Durham, who singled, still at first. Going. Ball pops away from Trevino. He just never got the grasp of that ball.
He tried to hurry his throw by coming up quickly with the glove, and that's a stolen base, as we called it. He was going on that pitch, and it was a sinker, and
he tried to quick-hand it.
Quick-handed, and he just flipped it right out of his glove.
So the first stolen base belongs to Durham, who had an excellent year last year in that department. He had 25 of them. in his first full year in the big leagues. Led the club in that department. Gets the first one this year. Now Henderson got a chance to get him home.
This is a plus for Durham. He's reached the base where Lee Edium wanted him with 2 outs. That's second base in scoring position now. If we can get a single off of Henderson's bat.
2-2 to Steve. Soto throws hard. There's no doubt about that. Throws just a fastball and a good hard slider. Then when he goes to his change, it's a little different. I'd be anxious to see how he would grip it. Maybe you'd have Lou. His change actually sinks for him.
Yes, the coaches could pick it up.
3-2. Bounced it foul on the third base side. Johnny Bench watches it go by. Bench getting all the kidding that you'd expect. Like, hey, John, you're going to wear a mask at third and all those kind of things. But you remember as a youngster when he came up. Watch this now. There's Bench moving on it in the replay on the foul. But we saw him even as a young catcher when he came up. They used to play him at center on the old terrace at the old ballpark.
That's
he
right.
could play first. He's one of those guys in the mold of a Joe Torre. Great hands. You could play him any place. 3-2 again. Ooh, we missed with a fastball. Good eye by Henderson.
Yes, I didn't think that they would give Henderson anything good to hit, especially with the rookie coming up. And boy, if he could break through here with a base hit, it would be a great thing, not only for the Cubs, but for Sandberg himself.
There are your runners. Durham at second, Henderson at first. Good speed on the bases, and a fellow in the batter's box that if he gets the ball in the right spot and they take him for granted, he can run very well, this kid.
Yes, I'd like to see Ryan go to right field. I think that's his best stroke.
Well, they've seen us in the spring, and their right fielder's already shouted up for him a little bit. Fouled off the end of the bat. Grady Hatton, the veteran who was broken as a kid here and managed and played and is now a super scout for the Giants, says, I asked him about Sandberg today. He said, boy, I thought I had him signed for the Giants a couple years ago. He's a good-looking youngster, and he verified what you and I talked about in the spring games, Lou. He has great instincts and great tools.
Yes.
No balls, 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out. Cubs against Soto in the 4th inning. Cubs in front, 2-0. Popped his fastball there, bounced away, but nobody moving. It was only about 8 feet away. Boy, is this a different look. We talk about the Cubs. We've all known about that all spring, but you don't realize the drastic change in the Reds until you see them take the field.
It's just as drastic as the Cubs change, in my opinion.
And
Maybe
big
more
names
so.
are gone.
Right, maybe more so because the lack of home runs and RBIs are going to be missing.
And 2 guys who could fly, Griffey and Collins. They both go to the same club. Oh, what a checkbook can do. Great to start the season with the umpires here, too, Lou. Thank goodness that didn't turn into a fiasco. Fouled up this way, up over us. No balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Sandberg. You look at Hurdle, Cedeno, and Householder in their outfield. That's all new. Bench at a new position at third. Trevino, a new catcher.
A little different than Foster, Geronimo, and Griffey.
Almost the way they went when they came over to this ballpark from Old Crosley Field, Lou. They went away from power to speed and wanted to do some things differently, and you can't argue with it.
No.
Look what they did in the 70s here.
This is right. This is what's hoping. We're hoping that the Cubs can do with almost the same identical philosophy.
You saw your runners. Durham at second, Henderson at first. Ryan Sandberg, the youngster, starting at third base for the Cubs here today, and would like to get that big hit in a clutch situation here and add to the lead for Doug Bird. Good eye by the youngster.
Yes, indeed.
That's what we were talking about. When he takes it off,
it sinks.
It really does. Sinks away from the right-hand hitter and into the left-hand hitter. 1-2. Fouled it off, stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hits belong to Wills and Moreland, home runs. Singles to Buckner and Durham for a total of 4. The Reds with 3 hits, 3 singles, Bench, Householder, and Concepcion. On this opening day, in case you've joined us a little late, you're right up to date on the home runs by Wills and Moreland. 2-0 Cubs. Soto and Bird, the pitchers. Struck him out. Dropped Donald's sidearm with his slider
Yes.
that time.
He sort of reached for that ball. It was out of the strike zone, but he fooled the youngster.
No runs and a hit. No errors and a walk. 2 Cubs are left. We played into the middle of the 4th. The Cubs are still in front, 2-0. With Lou Boudreau and Harry Caray, I'm Milo Hamilton from Riverfront Stadium on opening day in Cincinnati. You're watching Cubs baseball on good old Channel 9, WGN Television in Chicago, America's #1 sports station. And remember, our next Cub telecast will be at 6:30 Wednesday night from the same ballpark. Then the news will follow with John Drury, ace anchorman in Chicago right now with his great news crew. That'll be after the Cub game. And then the old redhead, Johnny Kerr, and I'll be on right after that with our final Bulls TV game of the year from Cleveland, all on Channel 9. Bird, I would say, is throwing, considering the weather, about as free and easy as you could throw
Yes.
under these conditions.
With great location on all pitches.
Bounces one
Except
up.
that one. I wouldn't open up my mouth.
We'll get a letter.
But he has been exceptionally great on his control. He's been in the jam now in the 2nd and the 3rd inning.
Walked one, hasn't struck out anybody yet. 2 balls and a strike. Now Bench had a base hit in the 2nd. It was the first hit off of him. He's had a lot of ground ball outs, though.
Yes, Bo has done a great job. You see how important it is to get the first man out in the inning.
Now, you remember that's where he got in trouble in the 3rd. He walked Reese and fell behind Concepcion 3-0. Concepcion came back with a hit. Now he's fallen behind a dangerous Bench at 3-1. Bouncer, shortstop, should be routine for Boa, and it is, and it's 1 away.
Boa's had several assists, and I would say 2 of them have been very difficult. But yet he's had the experience. He's had 5 assists already. He's had the experience of playing on AstroTurf, and that has been the difference in shortstop play today.
Yep, because a couple of those came up on him pretty good, and the one on Cedeno in the 1st inning was not an easy play.
You're right.
This is Householder. Oh, a comebacker and another ground ball. Boy, Bird's got him beating that ball into this turf. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ground ball outs.
This is what I mean when I said he's had good locations when he's had to in order to keep the ball on the ground.
Young Chris Hale of Lexington, Kentucky, knows his grandparents, Alma and Stan Hale in Brookfield, Illinois, are watching. Chris, of course, is really from Chicago. His dad, Bob Hale, was on radio and TV in Chicago for many years, an old friend of ours. 1 ball and no strikes to Clint Hurdle, who's trying to jump the big hurdle from the American League over to here and put a lot of pressure on himself in spring training. Look at Buckner. Look at that Buckner. 3 up and 3 down. That's what you like to see, Lou. Bird struggled 2 innings and came back with a good inning.
Yes, he did. He knows Hurdle. They played against one another.
All right, as you watch Billy Buckner do it again, we've played through 4 innings, and the Cubs still lead 2-0. We go to the 5th inning at Riverfront Stadium. I'm Milo Hamilton, along with the good kid, Lou Boudreau, who is sitting in here today in his 44th Major League opener.
I'm just as nervous as if it was my first.
Well, that gives us 74 between us.
Yeah, that's great, Milo. I hope we have about 74 more. Go with this new tradition of the Cubs and finally end up with a winner eventually.
You betches. We've got Ty Waller stepping in here. He hit the ball hard in the 2nd inning.
Yes, one of the hardest balls hit off Soto, in fact.
Swinging strike to Waller. Bird will be next. Then you'll go to the top with Bump Wills, who started the game with a line drive home run over the low right field fence about 10 feet inside the foul pole. A ball. That should be 2 strikes, shouldn't it?
Yes.
I think the board missed one.
Board missed one. He has missed on 2 swings.
Waller leading it off in the 5th. Check swing, pop right side. Dan Dreesen's there, and it's 1 away. Fooled him completely there.
In the 5th inning, manager Lee Elia thinking definitely of 2 things. These 2 thoughts are going right through his mind. I'd like to pick up 1 more run and hope that we might get 2 more or 3 more runs, add to this lead. Then I can go to my bullpen whenever Bird needs it, if he needs it in the 7th or 8th inning.
Jammed him, and look at Bird shaking his hand.
It stung.
Like sticking your hand in a snowblower here today.
Yeah, a lot of bees in the handles of the bats.
So you got 2 away in a hurry, brings up Wills. Great Cub fans and Channel 9 fans in Sugar Grove, Illinois, out in the Aurora area. Brad and Don Sauer from Sugar Grove. Had a chance to meet them down in Mesa. No, they're watching the opener here today. I'll tell you something. Soto must have gone to school on Wills, because after the homer, he struck him out easy the second time up and made him look bad there.
It hasn't given him a fastball to hit. He's wasting the fastball on bump. See that fastball inside. Now we'll see if he'll go back to his let up or little slider.
Lights are on here, and well, they should be. Oh, he pumped one by him that
Powdered
time.
one by him. I gave my opinion of the thoughts with Lee with a 2-0 lead. Now going through McNamara's mind is, I've got to let my second man hit if the first man gets on. He cannot start an inning with a single and then bunt or hit and run, you see.
2-0 Cubs leading. Wills and Moreland solo home runs. Wills in the first, Moreland in the second. Both of them were leadoff homers. Fouled it off. Came with a good low fastball.
Wills was protecting the plate. Did not have a good swing or a home run swing. He just merely wanted to make contact and hoping that that ball will be hit in a fair territory safely someplace so he can get on base.
You're getting a part of the new look here today with the new Cub uniforms. They're very attractive on TV. Arnie Harris says they're very nice. The old blue pinstripes on television, a lot of people complained about them. There's no secret about that. But these are delightful.
Yes, they are.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 2 down. The Cubs are batting in the 5th. They've led since the opening batter when Wills pumped the line drive out of here. Oh, I tell you.
There's his slider.
He throws that about as hard as his fastball, Lou.
Yes, it does. It just moves in very quickly on a left-handed hitter.
3 up and 3 down. We've reached the halfway point of this one, middle of the 5th. After 4.5 on opening day, the Cubs are in front 2-0. The bottom of the 5th inning. Alex Trevino will lead it off. He's the 8th man in their order against Bird, who at the moment is enjoying a 2-0 lead.
Milo, before you start, I'm quite sure that not only do I want to congratulate you and your dear wife Arlene on tomorrow, it will be your 30th wedding anniversary to 2 great people, and our congratulations.
Thank you, good kid. Looks like I'll have a chance to be home after all, because now with going to Cleveland with the Bulls Wednesday, if I can get into Chicago tonight, I'm going to get back. But if I can't, I'll just stay over and go to Cleveland Wednesday morning. But thanks for the good wishes,
You
Lou.
just give her a nice hug, little kiss on the cheek for me.
All right, pal. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bouncer short. Boa there. Looked like he got him with a palm ball,
Yes,
didn't it?
yes, it did, because Trevino was backing away from the pitch.
Well, Soto will bat now since that first man bounced out.
And as I've mentioned before, it's now more than ever important for Bird to retire that first man, and that will not give Cincinnati the incentive to start a rally. We don't want that to stop.
And this is a club over the years, although they're different people, but there's something about playing in this park. They're kind of like the Dodgers in L.A. If you don't have them really put away in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, they'll come after you.
They'll come right back after you. But then again, Milo, it's nice to see that there's not going to be a Foster coming up there 2 or 3 more times
and who can
in this
hit you
game.
2 or 3 runs in a cluster.
One swing. Bird has to go hard now the next 2 innings because Lee Elia has his bullpen ready whenever needed. Hopefully, we will not need it.
2-0 pitch. Missed on the pitcher. Boy, don't give this guy a trip.
No, we don't want that.
And another thing about it, too, that enters into Lee and Billy Conner's mind, get an off day tomorrow, off day Thursday. So, and Fergie's going to pitch Friday. You don't have to, you can go down there and look whoever you want. You don't have to be picky and choosy. You can go down there.
Absolutely. Right now, we're looking for outs.
3-1 pitch. Got it in there to make it 3-2. Come back and get this guy. You know, another thing, got a lot of comments from our players. So many of them, Bird included, their families are not with them, and they're able to watch on Channel 9 cable. Oh, a bad pitch, and he walks it. Looked like he tried to aim.
He hurried it. He hurried his delivery, lost his rhythm, and consequently, as you mentioned, hurried his delivery.